You think the way to get him back is to reach out first, say the perfect thing, or make one dramatic move he can't ignore. But the truth is, the more you chase clarity from him, the more you lose it in yourself. You think blocking him will prove your power, but if you're doing it to provoke a reaction, that's not power. That's pain wearing makeup. Listen carefully. If you need reminders like this, real reminders, not soft lies, subscribe now. Because when your emotions get loud, your standards get quiet, and you need truth in your ear before you make another decision that costs you your dignity, not comfort, truth, because comfort is what got you here. Here's what it really means when you feel the urge to text first, to block him, to post for attention, to disappear for effect, to do anything that is secretly designed to control what he feels about you. It means you have made his response the center of your emotional world. It means your nervous system is no longer asking, what is true? It is asking, what will make him come back? And the moment that becomes your question, you stop leading your life. You start negotiating with your self-respect. That's the misconception. You think the problem is external. You think the problem is timing, wording, strategy, feminine mystery, masculine polarity, social media silence, read receipts, who watched whose story, who folded first. You think if you just figure out the right move, you can control the outcome. But the hard truth is this: when someone pulls away, your first assignment is not to win them back. Your first assignment is to return to yourself. And most people won't do that. Why? Because self-return is not dramatic. It's not cinematic. It doesn't give you instant feedback. It doesn't scratch the itch. Chasing does. Reacting does. Blocking for effect does. Sending that just checking in text does. Posting the photo you hope he notices does. Those things give you a temporary illusion of movement. But movement is not progress. Noise is not power. Reaction is not self-respect. You want to know why this happens? Root cause, not surface behavior. Root cause. It happens because rejection doesn't just hurt your feelings. It exposes your dependency. It reveals where you were using him as emotional proof. Proof that you're wanted. Proof that you matter. Proof that you're still enough. So now that his energy changed, you feel like your value changed. And that is the real danger. Not that he left, not that he got distant, not that he stopped texting the same way. The real danger is that you started measuring your worth with someone else's inconsistency. That's called outsourcing your identity. And once you do that, everything gets distorted. Silence feels like judgment. Distance feels like indictment. Waiting feels like dying. You start reading meaning into everything because you can't sit still in the absence of reassurance. And when you can't sit still, you do what weakens almost everybody. You reach, you force, you explain, you perform, you punish, you test, you bait, you block, you unblock, you stare at your phone like it holds the verdict on your life. But let's be honest. If he only comes back because you manipulated the emotional temperature, did you really get him back? If he responds because you created pressure, because you disappeared theatrically, because you weaponized silence, because you made him fear losing access, what exactly did you win? His genuine desire? Or a temporary reaction? Presence or panic? Reality or fantasy? Ask yourself that. Because too many people are not trying to build something real. They are trying to interrupt discomfort. That's it. They don't want truth. They want relief. And relief is expensive when you buy it with your dignity. So let's go deeper. When you text first from a grounded place, that's one thing. Adults communicate. But when you text first because anxiety is driving, because uncertainty is choking you, because you can't bear not knowing where you stand, that message is not communication. It is an emotional bid for regulation. You are not expressing. You are self-abandoning in real time. And when you block him because you genuinely need peace, because access to him is harming your focus, your healing, your nervous system, that can be healthy. But when you block him to make him chase, to stage your absence, to trigger fear, to create leverage, that's not detachment. That's still attachment, just inverted. He is still controlling your behavior. You are still moving around him, still orbiting him, still making him the axis. That's why the answer is not text first or block him. The answer is stop doing anything that makes him the reference point for your next move. That is where your power begins, not in making a statement, in ending the performance. And this is where a lot of people get uncomfortable because they want techniques, they want scripts, they want steps to make him feel the loss. They want tactics wrapped in spirituality. They want revenge dressed up as healing. But self-respect is not a trick. It does not ask, how do I get the upper hand? It asks, what kind of person am I becoming through this? Different question, different life. Because the cost of getting this wrong is bigger than losing him. You can survive losing him. What destroys people is losing themselves while trying not to. You lose your center, you lose your routine, you lose your appetite, you lose your standards, you lose your concentration, you lose your sleep, you lose your ability to tell the difference between longing and humiliation, you lose your edge, and then you call it love. No, love doesn't require you to betray yourself to keep it alive. If you have to abandon your peace to maintain a connection, the connection is already too expensive. Read that in your soul. Now, let me reframe this for you. The goal is not to make him come back. The goal is to become the version of you that no longer leaks energy trying to control what another adult chooses. Ironically, that is the energy most people return to, not because you performed detachment, because you became untouchable by chaos, because you stopped collapsing, because you stopped pleading with reality to be different, because you became harder to shake than the situation itself. That is attractive. But more importantly, that is free. There is a certain kind of person who understands this immediately. The man with self-respect, the man who is grounded in purpose, the man who does not beg for reciprocation, the man who does not audition for a seat at a table he helped build, the man who can feel deeply without acting desperately, the man who can miss you and still keep his word to himself, the man who does not need to announce his withdrawal, threaten his absence, or play games to create value. He knows his value because he is living it. He wakes up and handles his life. He keeps his body disciplined, his mind clear, his schedule clean, his emotions under command, not suppressed, commanded. There's a difference. He doesn't text from panic. He doesn't post from loneliness. He doesn't call because the night got heavy and his standards got weak. He lets reality reveal itself. He watches actions. He respects silence. He doesn't chase mixed signals. He doesn't fight for confused love. He doesn't sell himself to someone who should already see him. That man is dangerous to dysfunction because dysfunction cannot control him. He doesn't need the last word. He needs the right life. He does not ask, how do I make her realize what she lost? He asks, why am I trying to convince someone to value what I should be protecting? That question changes everything. Because once you ask it honestly, the game ends, the spiraling ends, the fantasy weakens, the fog lifts. You stop trying to be chosen by people who are not even choosing themselves correctly. That is the man you need to become in your own nervous system, whether you are a man listening or whether you're simply being asked to understand masculine self-respect. Grounded, clear, non-reactive, not cold, not bitter, not numb, just unavailable for self-betrayal. So what do? You stop reaching for control through contact. You stop reaching for control through silence. You stop narrating your pain to the person who caused it and calling that closure. You stop checking if he saw, if he liked, if he cares, if he noticed, if he misses you, if he's with someone else, if he's thinking about you, if this means something, if that means nothing. You stop feeding the loop. Because every loop you feed becomes a leash. And then you redirect immediately, not someday, not when you feel better, now. You redirect your hands away from the phone and back toward your life. You redirect your mornings away from waiting and back toward structure. You redirect your body away from collapse and back toward movement. You redirect your attention away from fantasy and back toward facts. Facts, not feelings alone. Facts. Has he been consistent? Has he been clear? Has he made effort without being prompted? Has he shown integrity when it was inconvenient? Has he created safety, not confusion? Has he moved toward you with conviction? Or have you been carrying the emotional labor of the entire connection? Answer that without poetry. Answer it without hope. Answer it like your future depends on your honesty. Because it does. If he wants to come back in a meaningful way, he will come back with clarity, with action, with humility, with consistency. Not with a late night hey, not with breadcrumbs, not with nostalgia, not with heat and no direction, not with access to your body, but no commitment to your peace. And if what returns is less than what left, then do not call that destiny. Call it what it is, a test of whether you have finally learned. That's called discernment. And discernment is what separates a healed person from a hungry one. A hungry person takes the first sign. A healed person watches the pattern. A hungry person hears words. A healed person measures behavior. A hungry person wants relief. A healed person wants truth. A hungry person asks, how do I keep this? A healed person asks, is this even worthy of me? That shift is everything. Now let's get brutally practical. When the urge hits, do not obey it immediately. Delay action, buy space, 10 minutes, then 30, then an hour. Not because time magically heals everything, but because urgency is often emotion pretending to be wisdom. Slow down enough to catch the lie, then tell yourself the truth in plain language. I do not need to act to prove I matter. Again, I do not need to act to prove I matter. Again, I do not need his response to return to my center. That sentence alone can save you from months of damage. Then remove the ritual. Stop rereading old messages. Stop checking his page. Stop replaying the good parts while editing out the disrespect. Stop building a shrine out of selective memory. If you keep curating evidence for your attachment, do not act surprised when you remain attached. Then build friction, put the phone down, leave the room, go walk, train, work, write, pray, clean your apartment. Call the friend who tells you the truth, not the one who helps you romanticize confusion. Get back into contact with reality through movement and action. Emotional energy must be redirected or it will be discharged into the worst possible decision. Then restore your standards in language. Say it out loud. I do not chase ambiguity. Say it until your body starts to believe what your mouth is saying. I do not beg for basic reciprocity. I do not perform detachment. I practice it. I do not need to punish someone to protect myself. I choose peace over theatrics. That is not corny. That is reprogramming. Then watch what happens. At first, nothing glamorous, no fireworks, no movie scene, just withdrawal, restlessness, cravings, doubt, the ache of not doing what you usually do. Good. That means the old cycle is losing oxygen. Stay there. Let it burn. Let the urge pass without turning it into an action. That is emotional maturity, not feeling nothing, feeling everything and still refusing to betray your future. This is the part nobody claps for, the invisible part. The private war, the moment where no one knows you were about to text and didn't. No one knows you almost blocked for attention and didn't. No one knows you almost made your pain public and didn't. But that is where self-respect is built, quietly, repetition by repetition, decision by decision, standard by standard. And once you build it, something changes in your eyes, in your voice, in your timing, in what you tolerate, in what you no longer need explained twice. You become less available to confusion because confusion no longer feels exciting. It feels expensive. You become less hypnotized by chemistry because chemistry without character now disgusts you. You become less attracted to almosts, maybes, and someday. You start craving peace, integrity, steadiness, depth. That is growth, not becoming colder, becoming clearer. And clarity is a threat to every situation that survives on your emotional fog. So if he comes back, fine. Let him come back to someone who is no longer starving. Let him come back to standards. Let him come back to calm. Let him come back to a version of you that does not hand out access in exchange for temporary reassurance. Let him meet the new border. Let him meet the questions. Let him meet the pace. Let him meet the requirement that words now carry weight. Let him meet consequence, not cruelty, consequence. And if he doesn't come back, then good. Better the truth than a prolonged delusion. Better clean pain than contaminated hope. Better one deep wound that heals than 1,000 shallow cuts you keep calling a connection. His absence does not reduce your worth. It reveals your assignment. Build a life so aligned that losing the wrong person stops feeling like losing your future. Because it never was your future, it was your attachment talking. And there is a difference between missing someone and misreading them. There is a difference between history and compatibility. There is a difference between potential and pattern. There is a difference between being seen and being used. Learn the difference, and half your suffering disappears. Let me say something that might sting, but it will set you free. You are not waiting on him. You are waiting on the part of yourself that still believes love must be earned through endurance. that if you just hold on longer, explain better, forgive more, shrink more, prove more, then eventually you will be chosen correctly. No, that belief is the chain. Break that, and you stop calling instability passion. You stop romanticizing emotional unavailability. You stop turning inconsistency into mystery. You stop mistaking your anxiety for intuition. You stop confusing obsession with depth. You stop, you stop, you stop. And in that stopping, you finally hear yourself again. Then the real comeback begins, not his, yours. You get your mornings back, your discipline back, your appetite back, your humor back, your standards back, your sleep back, your focus back, your body back, your mind back, your future back. You stop living as if one person's uncertainty is a global event. You stop treating one chapter like the whole book. You remember that your life is supposed to expand, not shrink around love. That is what self-reclamation looks like. Not bitterness, not revenge, not emotional posing. Return to your values, return to your routine, return to your body, return to your purpose, return to your name, return to the part of you that was never supposed to kneel for crumbs. And understand this, the person who most powerfully wins in these situations is not the one who gets the text. It is the one who no longer needs it to breathe. That's freedom. That's magnetism. That's peace. So don't text first from panic. Don't block from performance. Do this instead. Become still enough to tell the truth, disciplined enough to hold the line, and busy enough building your life that anyone who wants access to you has to arrive with more than feelings. They have to arrive with substance, with consistency, with reality. Anything less is noise. You are not here to beg reality to choose you. You are here to become so rooted in who you are that what is not for you exposes itself quickly. You are not here to chase closure from people who benefited from your confusion. You are not here to twist yourself into the shape of someone else's convenience. You are not here to abandon your peace for a possibility. You are the answer, not his return, not his apology, not his realization. You. Your standards are the answer. Your discipline is the answer. Your clarity is the answer. Your ability to walk away from what insults your worth is the answer. Your refusal to perform for love is the answer. Your self-respect is the answer. So stand up internally. Clean your mind. Clean your habits. Clean your boundaries. Let your silence be honest, not tactical. Let your absence be natural, not theatrical. Let your peace become louder than your need to be chosen. And if he comes back to truth. If he doesn't, you still win because you got yourself back. And that is the only comeback that changes your life. If you want more messages like this, more truth, more clarity, more reminders that protect your dignity when your emotions try to bargain it away, subscribe. Not because I need followers, because you need a voice that refuses to let you confuse longing with love. And if you're building that stronger identity now, you're not alone here. You belong among people who are done chasing confusion and ready to live with self-respect.